Welcome back to Heartburn 00. It's been a little while since we've done some tutorials on Rockrail, so I thought I'd do a couple of videos on showing you how to use actions, or how I use actions in Rockrail. I'm no expert on Rockrail, but I managed to get by. So just bear in mind that the Rockrail wiki is the only official documentation for Rockrail. All other is user to user. So let's start off by using the sounds in the loco. Using the actions, we're going to start off the locomotive with the sound switching on and also the lights coming on. Locomotive shall move out of the siding, and once it gets to this point here we'll sound the horn, and after that we'll make the loco go back in, have the engine sit for a little second, and then the lights and the sound going back off. So over to the computer and we'll see how we do it, how we set it up. So in Rockrail we need to set up the actions first. So you can go up here, new tables, and go down to actions. We'll tell us if you can use the Alt F3. So we're going to start with new, and we'll give it a name. You can call it any name you want. We like to call it sound on. And in the description, same again, you can give it any name you want. And we apply. Once applied it, up here we can go and define it. So definition. It's going to be a function for a locomotive. So with the function, locomotive we're going to use is a locomotive ending 78. Sub ID we'll leave blank, and in the command we're going to give it the command to on. In the parameter field, the function to switch on sound on this layout is F1. So what we do is drop the F and we put in 1. The duration and the timer we shall leave blank, and the activation time we shall leave blank as well. So apply that, OK. Alt F3 again, and now we're going to add in the off position. So rather than going through it all again, what we can do is we can copy that one. So highlight it, make a copy, and then in the copy we can change it. So rather than being sound on, we'll call it sound off. And in the definition, all we need to change is the command to off. Apply. OK. So that's the sound for on and off setup. Now we need to set up the light. Alt F3, so make a new one, and the ID we'll call it light. Description we'll call it on. Apply, then we define it. So it's a function. The ID is going to be locomotive ending 78. The subsection will leave blank. The command we're going to give it to on. And this time in the parameter we're going to give it 0. It's F0 on my layout to turn on the lights. Apply. OK, we'll put the lights on. We'll set up the lights for going off as well. So Alt number 3, and rather than do it again, we'll just copy it and we'll edit it. So light, we'll call this one the description off. Definition, all we need to do is change the command from on to off. Apply. OK. So that's the light and the sound setup. Now we're going to put on the horn. So when it exits the siding, the horn shows sound. So Alt, free, and we're going to give a new definition. This time we'll call it horn. And in the description, we'll call it toot. Apply. And up to definition again, highlight it. And in the definition, it's going to be a function. The local ID is going to be 78, ending 78. Sub ID we shall leave blank, and the command we shall leave to on. The parameter for this one here is F2, so we drop the F, put in 2. And this time, rather than having the horn switched on all the time, we'll give it a duration. So we'll set it up for 5 milliseconds. So once it triggers, it'll switch itself back off after 5 milliseconds. Depending on your layout, you maybe need to put a longer time in here in your locomotives, I should say. So apply that. Apply. Okay. So now we need to set up the triggers. So the train's got to leave block 2 and go into block 1. So that's a good starting point. We'll go with Control 2 to bring up the routes. Block 2 to block 1. We'll go to General. And then the actions. We're going to sound on. The state is going to be doesn't matter. We can leave that blank. The substate we can leave blank as well, and the duration we can leave blank. Locomotive, we'll put in locomotive 78. The description and the parameter we shall leave blank moment. And the duration and timer we shall also leave blank. So we'll add that. Now I've only got the 2 locomotives running on this layout, but if you did not set your conditions, every time a train went from block 2 to block 1, the engine's sound would start up. So in the conditions, must be true, and we go down to loco, and my ID is 78. All that does is when the local goes from block 2 to block 1, it's only at that local will sound the horn. Apply. Okay. So now to set up the light, we're going to actions as well. And light on. The state we can leave blank, and the substate we can leave blank as well. Duration we leave blank, and timer that is locomotive 68. So we add that. That's light on, light off, and we'll try and do conditions again. Now it's let us do it. The loco and the ID is train ending 78, and modify, add, apply, and OK. So that's the light setup and the sound setup. Well, let's go in and add in the toot or the horn. I want the horn to sound when it goes out of the siding, so this sensor here would be a good one to set up for the horn. So right click on it, properties, go to actions, and then in the actions I want the horn, and the state can be left blank and the substate can be left blank as well. Duration can be left blank and the timer can be left blank. Locomotive we can add in 78. You put a description in, you can leave the parameter blank as well. So add that. Apply. OK. So now we want to set up the locomotive goes in here to switch off the sound and also switch off the lights as well. So Control 2 to bring up the routes. So block 1 to block 2, general actions. And in ID, first thing I want to do is sound off. And the state we can leave blank, the substate we can leave blank. This time, the timer. If I didn't put in a time, the timer, as soon as it went from block 1 to block 2, the sound would go off. Therefore, I need to set up a timer to ensure the train goes in time. And I've done a wee bit of calculations there, and it's 45,000 seconds it needs to do. You can set this up in the action block, but if you fill in this one here, it'll override the action block itself. And we'll put in the engine as well and add it. Now we'll add in the lights off as well. And same again with the timing, we'll just change the time a little touch so it goes off before the sound goes off. Call it 144,000 milliseconds. Add, and that's that done. The same again, you could go up to the conditions there and set the conditions there. For some reason it doesn't like to go straight into the conditions. I'll apply, OK, and go back in and add in the conditions. So locomotive, and in there, add index. Conditions. We'll go again and we'll give it the ID 78. Add first and then apply. OK. So that's the scene we set up. Let's put it in the automatic mode and see if it worked. So the train shall go from block 2 to block 1, and the lights will come on and the sound will start up. Once it exits the siding, I'll sound the horn. We'll do a little toot there. You can change that by changing the duration of shots. So we'll put it back in. Let's just come to a halt, and after a period of time, the lights and then the sound shall go. When it comes to a halt, the lights will go off and the sound will go off as well. So So that's us folks. The next one will show you how you work your accessories, i.e. lights, my doors, using the actions as well. Thanks for watching. Please like or subscribe. Bye.